The Cavron starport had once been the pride of the Rotel system. It was a place where voices from 100 worlds mixed together, insectoid merchants clicking out deals, tall avian diplomats speaking in musical tones, and strange luminous beings gliding through the air. Its halls smelled of spices, alien flowers, and starship fuel. Now, it smelled only of antiseptic and emptiness. Captain Rhea Morgan stepped out of the docking airlock into the dead concourse. Her boots made sharp echoes on the shining black floor. The light was cold and pale, spilling down from the long windows that overlooked the docking rings. Dozens of alien ships floated outside, their hulls untouched but their crews gone. Behind her came Lieutenant Keon Dre, carrying a pack filled with scanning equipment, and Dr. Sira Imani, her eyes hidden behind the visor of her biohelmet. Their steps were slow. Even though the station looked safe, they had learned long ago that silence in space often meant danger. Every holoscreen they passed showed the same emergency message in glowing red letters, cycling through different alien languages. Quarantine. Vector 7 strain detected. All travel restricted. Evacuate if possible. Dr. Imani's handheld scanner gave a quick, high-pitched beep. She stopped walking and studied the screen. Her voice came through the helmet speakers, calm but heavy. Same readings as before. The virus is everywhere. Air, walls, surfaces. The place is soaked with it. Keon glanced around, nervous. Then, why are we walking around without full isolation suits? Rhea's voice was quiet, but steady. Because we don't need them. She didn't have to explain. They all knew the truth. Vector 7, the silencer virus, was a mystery and a nightmare. To the galaxy. It didn't care about species, didn't care about strength, didn't care about technology. It spread through sealed stations, bypassed air filters, and slipped past every shield anyone tried to build. Once it entered a body, it moved fast. Fever, weakness, collapse. 3 days later, death. Whole worlds had gone silent in less than a week. But somehow, humans didn't die at first. The Galactic Council thought it was a rare accident. One ship, one crew spared. But then it happened again, and again, and again. Dozens of human crews walked into contaminated worlds, breathed in the death-filled air, and walked out without a single cough. The scientists couldn't explain it. Some said it was human biology, the result of Earth's long history with diseases. Others whispered it was evolution, survival written into their blood. Theories didn't matter. What mattered was that humans could go where no one else could. So, they did. The Council sent them into the ghost systems, to salvage supplies, rescue survivors, and search for a cure. Sometimes they found the desperate and the dying. Sometimes they found only bodies, and sometimes they found nothing at all. The crew of the ISS Resolute had been in the field for 2 months now. Every mission was dangerous, but humans had one unspoken rule. If someone calls for help, you go. They were almost ready to declare the Cavron starport empty when the comm unit on Rhea's wrist gave a faint crackle. A thin, weak voice came through alien syllables, broken and hard to understand, but clearly not a recording. Dr. Imani's head snapped up. That's real. That's someone alive. Keon frowned. But that's impossible. The virus didn't get them. Not yet. Rhea's tone was firm. They followed the faint signal deeper into the station. The lights flickered. Somewhere far below, machinery hummed without purpose. The place felt like a tomb. As they turned a corner, Keon slowed. Captain, are you seeing this? On the wall ahead, someone had written a message in an even alien script, as if scrawled in haste. Don't trust the COUNCILDR. Imani read it slowly. That's strange. Rhea didn't answer. She just kept moving, her rifle held low, but ready. They reached a sealed medical wing. The door control flickered weakly, its power almost drained. Keon worked quickly, bypassing the lock with a portable console. The doors slid open with a tired hiss. Inside, the lights were dim. A strange, bluish fog drifted along the floor. The air smelled sharp, like metal and ozone. Medical beds lined the walls, most of them empty. But in the far corner, a figure lay covered in a thermal sheet. Rhea approached carefully. The figure was thin, skin pale, and patterned with faint, shimmering marks. Not human. Their eyes opened. Slowly, dull, but alert. They spoke in a whisper, the words shaking. "You, Terrans." Rhea nodded. "Yes, we're here to help." The alien coughed, their voice almost gone. "Too late. The virus is not the only danger. They released it." Dr. Imani leaned forward. "Who released it?" The alien's eyes flicked to the ceiling, as if afraid the walls themselves were listening. "The Caldrax, and someone in the council." The words hung in the cold air. Keon looked stunned, but why would they? The alien's body shook with another cough, weaker this time. "Not safe here. They're coming, to finish." Their eyes closed, their breathing shallow. Rhea looked at her crew. "We move. Now." They lifted the alien gently and started back toward the ship. The cum crackled again, but this time, it wasn't a distress signal. It was a cold, unfamiliar voice, speaking in galactic standard. "Terran vessel resolute. You have taken something that does not belong to you. Surrender the life form, or be destroyed." Rhea's hand tightened on her rifle. Her voice was steel. "Not happening." Somewhere out beyond the silent station, in the black between the stars, engines flared to life. Asterisk, the alien they carried, was light as paper, their breathing shallow. Captain Rhea Morgan moved fast through the empty corridors of the Cavron starport, boots pounding against the polished floor. Lieutenant Kean Dre was right behind her, scanning for threats, while Dr. Sira Yamani kept one hand on the alien's pulse, far above them. In the silent void, an enemy ship waited. The voice over the cum still echoed in Rhea's mind. "Surrender the life form, or be destroyed." It was calm, without emotion, the kind of voice that didn't bluff. Keon spoke in a low tone as they ran. "They tracked us here. That means they knew we'd be the ones sent." Rhea didn't answer. Her mind was working fast. The Caldrax weren't just hunters, they were planners. If they had placed someone in the Galactic Council, it meant the betrayal ran deep. The mission was already more dangerous than anyone had guessed. The docking bay doors came into sight. The ISS Resolute waited beyond, her silver hull reflecting the cold station lights. "Almost there," Rhea said, her voice sharp with urgency. "But..." Then the floor shook. A deep rumble rolled through the station. Dust fell from the ceiling. Somewhere above, something heavy had docked with the outer ring. Dr. Imani's eyes widened. "They're boarding." Keon tapped his wrist console. Multiple heat signatures closing in fast. 6. No. 8. Rhea adjusted her grip on the alien and spoke into her cum. "Resolute, this is Morgan. Power up the engines. Seal the airlock. We're coming in hot." The crew burst into the docking bay just as the first Caldrax soldiers entered from the opposite side. They were massive, twice the height of a human, with thick, black exoskeletons that shimmered like obsidian under the lights. Their eyes glowed faintly, and each carried a weapon that looked more like a piece of living bone than metal. The lead soldier stepped forward, its voice a deep growl in galactic standard. "Hand over the asset." Rhea's reply was a single word: "No." The Caldrax moved. Keon dropped to one knee, firing his pulse rifle. The energy bolts hit the lead soldier's armor, burning deep but not stopping its charge. The docking bay filled with the deafening noise of weapons fire. Dr. Imani ducked behind a supply crate, shielding the alien with her own body. Rhea fired in short, controlled bursts, aiming for the joints in the enemy's armor. She'd studied Caldrax physiology before. The gaps were small, but they were there. One soldier went down, its legs buckling. Another pushed forward, claws scraping against the floor. "Keon, cover us," Rhea shouted. He switched his rifle to rapid fire, forcing the enemy to slow their advance. Rhea sprinted the last few meters to the Resolute's airlock. The ship's door slid open just in time, and Dr. Amani rushed inside with the alien. Keon was the last one through, his chest heaving. The moment the airlock sealed, Rhea hit the helm. Get us out of here, now. The Resolute's engines roared to life. Through the viewport, Rhea saw the Kaldrak's ship, a dark, angular predator in space, bristling with weapons. The pilot, Ensign Talren, spoke without turning from his console. They're moving to intercept. We can't outrun them in open space. Rhea leaned over his chair, eyes fixed on the glowing tactical display. Then we don't give them open space. Plot a course through the debris field in the planet's shadow. Tal hesitated. That field is unstable. Half the wreckage is from warships. There are unexploded munitions everywhere. Rhea's voice was calm but firm. They can't follow us without risking the same. Do it. The Resolute swung round the station, engines flaring. The Kaldrak ship followed, its weapons powering up. Energy beams streaked past, lighting up the void. The debris field appeared ahead, a vast graveyard of shattered ships, broken satellites, and drifting metal chunks orbiting the pale blue planet below. As they entered, the Resolute's shields sparked from near misses. The Kaldraks hesitated only for a moment before plunging in after them. Keon strapped himself in at the engineering station. Shields at 60%. If they land one clean hit, they won't. Rhea cut in. She guided Tal with quick, precise orders. The ship swerved through narrow gaps, rolled past broken hulls, and skimmed close to massive. The ISS Resolute drifted through the dark between stars, running silent. No beacon, no broadcasts. Only the soft hum of the engines and the faint sound of medical monitors filled the ship. Captain Rhea Morgan stood in the medbay doorway, watching Dr. Sira Imani work over the alien they had rescued. The pale figure lay still on the bed, connected to life support cables. Their breathing was shallow, but steady. Lieutenant Keandre entered quietly, carrying a steaming mug. He offered it to Rhea. Strongest coffee we've got. You look like you need it. Rhea accepted with a small nod. Her eyes stayed on the alien. Any word? Dr. Imani glanced up. They're stable for now. But they've got more than the virus in their system. Traces of something artificial. A biotag. Rhea frowned. Tracking device. Worse, Imani said softly. This is Kaldrak's biotech. It's like a beacon they can lock on to. If we hadn't destroyed that ship, they'd still be hunting us right now. Kian swore under his breath. So whoever planted it wanted them found. The alien stirred, eyes flickering open. Their voice was weak but clearer than before. Where am I? Rhea stepped closer. Aboard the human vessel Resolute. You're safe for now. The alien studied her for a moment, as if trying to read something in her face. I am Vera, of the Threeni Assembly. My people are gone. Dr. Imani exchanged a glance with Rhea. The virus. Vera nodded slowly. The silencer was not an accident. It was made, designed to move fast, to kill faster. It spares only one species. Humans. Kian's voice was low and hard. So it's a weapon. Vera's eyes darkened. A weapon and a test. The Kaldraks wanted to see what would happen if only one kind of people were left standing. But they didn't act alone. Rhea's stomach turned. She remembered the message scrawled on the station wall. Don't trust the council. You said before, someone in the council helped them. Not just someone, Vera whispered. A group. They believe humans are dangerous. Too unpredictable. They think the galaxy will be safer if all power shifts to one hand. The virus is their way to burn the old order away. The medbay went quiet. Rhea spoke finally, her voice steady but cold. Then we're sitting on proof that could bring the whole council down. Keon leaned against the wall, rubbing his jaw. If we can survive long enough to share it. Rhea turned to the pilot's station over the com. Tal set course. For Outpost 9. Use shadow lanes only. Outpost 9 was a hidden human station, tucked deep in an asteroid field in neutral space. It wasn't on any alien star maps. If anywhere was safe, it was there. The journey took hours. The Resolute threaded its way through narrow dust corridors, the asteroid walls passing close enough to scrape paint. They traveled without lights, using only faint sensor pings to avoid collisions. Finally, the massive silhouette of the outpost appeared, carved directly into the largest asteroid in the field. Its docking bay doors opened like a yawning mouth, swallowing the Resolute whole. Inside, the air was warmer, filled with the scent of metal, grease, and faint traces of Earth coffee. Humans in plain uniforms moved between ships, some stopping to salute as Rhea passed. They moved. Vera to the secure medical wing. Dr. Imani stayed with them while Rhea and Kian made their way to the command center. Commander Jonas Hale, the outpost leader, was already waiting. He was tall, with silver hair and eyes that missed nothing. Morgan, Dre, you've brought trouble, I see. Rhea placed a small data crystal on the table between them. Proof the virus is engineered. And proof there's a traitor in the council working with the Caldrax. Jonas stared at it for a long moment. Then he slid it into the console. Holographic files unfolded in the air. Research notes, deployment schedules, and a list of encrypted transmissions. The last file was a face. Keon's hands clenched into fists. That's Counselor Varric, the one who pushed to send us as observers in the Vorin expanse. Jonas exhaled slowly. If this is real, it's not just a Caldrax problem. It's a galactic war waiting to happen. It's real, Rhea said. Her voice was like steel. Jonas looked between them. Then we need to move before Varric learns this outpost exists. But it was already too late. The outpost's alarms screamed to life, the deep, pulsing tone of an incoming threat. A voice shouted over the com. Multiple Caldrax ships emerging from shadow space. They've found us. Jonas cursed. How? Rhea's mind went back to Vera's biotag. They didn't just tag Vera, they tagged the ship. We've been broadcasting our location, every jump. The command center shook as the first volley hit the outer defenses. Jonas turned to Rhea. You brought the proof, Captain. Now, you need to get it out before this place falls. Every human in the galaxy needs to see it. Keon's voice was tight. That's suicide. The Caldrax will be all over us. Rhea's eyes burned with resolve. They want to hunt humans. Fine. Let them see what happens when we fight back. Another impact rocked the outpost, and the lights flickered. Somewhere in the medbay, Vera opened their eyes again, whispering words only Dr. Imani could hear. If you fall, the galaxy falls. With you. The walls of Outpost 9 shook with every impact. Dust drifted from the ceiling, and the steady hum of the generators had turned into an uneven growl. Somewhere deep in the structure, alarms wailed. Their sharp cry cutting through the command center. Captain Rhea Morgan didn't flinch. She stood at the central console, watching the tactical display. The Caldrax ships glowed red on the holographic map, 6 of them, circling like predators around a wounded prey. The outpost's defense turrets spat fire into the black, but they were outgunned. Commander Jonas Hale leaned over the console, jaw tight. If they break the outer shields, we won't last more than 10 minutes. Lieutenant Kian Dre checked the power readouts on his wrist console. Shields are already down to 40%, and they're targeting the hangars. Rhea didn't look up. Then we leave before they finish the job. Jonas stared at her. You want to run? You've got enemy ships on every exit vector. Rhea finally turned her eyes to him. They were steady, almost calm. Not run, break out. There's a difference. The plan formed quickly. The ISS Resolute would launch under cover of a diversion. The outpost's small fighter wing would swarm the Caldrax to buy them a window. It wasn't a perfect plan. It wasn't even a good one. But it was the only one they had. In the med bay, Dr. Sira Imani worked fast to transfer Vera into a portable stasis pod. The alien's breathing was shallow, their body trembling under the strain of movement. Imani whispered to them as she locked the pod into its cradle. "Hold on, we're not leaving you behind." Vera's voice was barely a breath. "Don't let them win." The docking bay was chaos. Mechanics rushed. 2 prep fighters. Pilots shouted to one another over the noise, and the deck crew moved crates of munitions by hand. The air smelled of metal, oil, and something sharper, fear. Keon climbed into the Resolute's engineering station, running final checks. "Engines at 90%, but if we push them too hard, we'll burn out the core." Rhea strapped into the captain's seat. "Then we push them harder." The comm crackled with Jonas's voice from the control tower. "All fighters, launch and engage. Resolute, you're clear to move." Through the viewport, Rhea saw the fighters streak into the black, their engines leaving trails of blue light. The Caldrax ships moved to intercept, and for a brief moment, the sky outside became a storm of energy bolts. "Now, Tal," Rhea ordered. Ensign Tal Ren hit the thrusters, and the Resolute surged forward, its hull rattling under the acceleration. They shot past the outpost's shield barrier just as another Caldrax volley slammed into it, tearing the field apart in a burst of white light. The enemy noticed them instantly. 2 Caldrax frigates broke formation to give chase. Keon's voice was tense over the comm. "They're locking weapons." Rhea kept her tone level. "Deploy decoy drones. Make them think we're heading for the outer rim." Tiny metal spheres shot from the Resolute's belly, each broadcasting a false energy signature. The Caldrax split, one frigate chasing the decoys, the other staying on their tail. Tal swerved hard, skimming the edge of an asteroid belt. Massive. Rocks tumbled past, some as large as small cities. The ship groaned under the tight maneuvers. Dr. Imani's voice came from the med bay. "Rhea, Vera's vitals are dropping. We need to reach a safe zone soon." Rhea's mind worked quickly. They couldn't keep running forever. They needed to vanish. "Keon, can we mask our signature in the belt?" "Not without shutting down most systems. And if we shut down, we're blind and dead in the water," Rhea finished. She took a breath. "Do it." The ship's lights dimmed, the hum of the engines fading to a low, uneven whisper. Life support dropped to minimum. The Resolute became just another dark rock in the drifting chaos. Outside, the Caldrax frigate swept past, scanning, searching. For 3 long minutes, no one on the Resolute moved or spoke. Every breath felt too loud. Finally, the frigate moved, on engines flaring as it vanished deeper into the belt. Tal let out a slow exhale. "We're clear. For now." Rhea stood. Not clear, just breathing. There's a difference. They brought the systems back online slowly, careful not to send out a strong signal. Their new heading was toward the hidden human relay station Black Spire, where they could send the data crystal into secure networks across Terran space. But the quiet didn't last. As they left the asteroid belt, a faint light appeared on the edge of the sensors. Not Caldrax, but something worse. Keon's face paled. "That's a Council patrol ship." Jonas's. The ISS Resolute cut through the void like a silver blade, its engines leaving faint blue streaks against the black of space. Ahead, the Council patrol ship loomed, massive, angular, and bristling with weapons. It moved with a silent authority that screamed power, a reminder that even in the galaxy's chaos, some forces expected obedience. Captain Rhea Morgan gripped the controls lightly, eyes flicking between the tactical display and the viewport. The stasis pod holding Vera sat behind her, and the data crystal proof of the virus's origin and the Council betrayal lay in her palm. This was no longer just survival. This was truth. Lieutenant Keandre leaned over the engineering console. fingers flying over the controls. Shields are full, weapons online, but if they fire first, we're toast. Dr. Sira Imani moved to the medbay viewport, keeping a careful eye on Vera's vitals. They'll fire. There's no way. They let a human ship carrying evidence of their crimes just fly away. Rhea exhaled slowly, steadying herself. Then, we don't fly away. We make them regret it. The patrol ship's massive guns powered up with a hum that vibrated through the hull. A warning message flashed on the Resolute's systems. Detected. Compliance required. They want us to surrender, Keon muttered, jaw tight. Rhea's lips pressed together. We're Terrans. We don't surrender. The first shot hit. Energy blasts slammed into the Resolute's shields, making the ship shudder violently. Sparks danced along the hull. Keon gritted his teeth, pumping power to the shields, while Tal Ren, at the helm, pushed the engines to maximum, weaving between the Council ship's fire. They're faster than Caldrax, Keon said, awe and fear mixing in his voice. Rhea's eyes narrowed. Maybe, but we're smarter. She activated a maneuver few Terrans had attempted, a sudden spin and dive toward the patrol ship's shadow. Massive asteroids drifted near, remnants of a forgotten war. Using them as cover, the Resolute weaved dangerously close, dodging fire while positioning itself for a counterattack. From the medbay, Dr. Imani shouted, Rhea Vera's vitals are dropping. If we don't stabilize them, the alien could die, and we lose the key witness. Rhea didn't answer immediately. Instead, she tapped into the Resolute's internal systems, rerouting power from non-essential sections to the medical bay. Lights flickered, vents hissed, but the pod stabilized. Vera's chest rose with each shallow breath, and a faint color returned to their skin. They're holding on, Imani said, relief softening her voice. Outside, the Council patrol ship fired again, sweeping a massive energy net across the asteroid field. The Resolute shuddered under the impact. Rhea leaned forward. Tal, get us inside the patrol's blind spot. Keon, ready the countermeasures. I want them distracted, and then we hit hard. The ship spun, engines flaring, narrowly avoiding a massive asteroid. Energy pulses from the Council ship grazed the hull, sparking along the outer plating. Keon released the countermeasures. Decoy drones shot out like a swarm of fireflies, each projecting the Resolute's heat signature. The Council ship's targeting shifted. Energy blasts now struck the drones instead of the human vessel. Rhea felt a surge of adrenaline. Now, Tal, fire on their aft thrusters. Blue energy bolts from the Resolute's cannons slammed into the patrol ship. The massive vessel rocked violently, forced to slow as its engines were damaged. Sparks erupted from the hull, and the Council ship's automated systems struggled to recalibrate. For the first time, the humans had the upper hand. Keon's voice trembled with a mix of fear and exhilaration. We actually did it. We've disabled their engines. Rhea didn't celebrate. Her eyes were on the asteroids ahead. We're not done yet. A sudden alert flashed. Incoming signal unauthorized transmission detected. Dr. Im tapped the console. It's a recording, but it's from the original Council research facility on Earth. Vera stirred in the stasis pod, weakly murmuring, It explains. The virus. Humans are immune. The holographic projection came alive in the command center. A stern-looking human scientist appeared, speaking in clipped tones. Vector 7 was designed using genetic templates derived from Terran physiology. Humans are naturally resistant. Only humans can carry the cure within themselves unknowingly. That is why the virus spreads unchecked among other species. Only humans survive. Rhea's heart pounded. She understood suddenly. Humanity wasn't just surviving by luck. They were the key to the galaxy's salvation. They wanted to see if humans would fail, Rhea whispered. They thought we'd perish. That's why the virus was engineered. Keon's jaw dropped. We're the cure. Dr. Imani nodded, tears in her eyes. We carry immunity naturally. If we survive, we can help every species still alive. That's why we've been underestimated, because no one expected us to matter so much. The patrol ship's automated targeting system locked onto them again. Rhea clenched her fists. Then we show them. They think we're just a small, weak species. Let's prove they're wrong. Tal moved the ship sharply, dodging another volley. The Resolute returned fire, targeting weapon ports, shields, and propulsion systems. Sparks flew across the viewport as the Council ship shuddered under the relentless human assault. Vera's voice, weak but clear, reached them from the medbay. Terrans, never give up. Rhea's lips curved slightly. Never. Through the chaos of lasers and hull fire, the Resolute maneuvered flawlessly, outsmarting and outthinking the larger enemy ship. Every decision, every human instinct, risk, improvisation, courage, turned the tide. For the first time, the Council patrol ship faltered, its systems failing, its intimidation broken. The humans weren't just surviving, they were leading. Rhea looked down at the data crystal, then out the viewport at the stars. She whispered, almost to herself, "The galaxy doesn't know it yet, but the Terrans are just getting started." The ISIS Resolute glided silently through the stars, the wreckage of the Council patrol ship drifting behind them like a fading shadow. Inside, the crew moved with quiet purpose. Captain Rhea Morgan stood in the command center, staring at the stars beyond the viewport, her mind racing with plans. Humanity had survived the virus, outsmarted the Caldrax, and now held the proof of betrayal in their hands. But survival was only the first step. Lieutenant Keandre tapped a series of coordinates into the console. "I've located signals from other survivors, alien species that escaped the initial outbreak. They're hiding in isolated systems. Weakened, scared." Dr. Sierra Imani leaned over the medbay console, checking Vera's vitals. The 3 aliens stirred in the stasis pod, blinking slowly. "If we can reach them safely, we might start rebuilding the Alliance. And they need hope. More than ever." Rhea's eyes softened for the first time in hours. Hope, yes. That's what we're going to give them. Not just survival, but strength. The first system they entered was Talcora, a world scarred by the silencer virus. Towering crystal trees had shattered, rivers had run dry, and cities were abandoned. Smoke rose in thin plumes from settlements that hadn't been touched by humans yet. On the surface, a small group of survivors huddled behind ruined buildings, a mix of avian, insectoid, and gelatinous species. Their eyes widened as the Resolute landed nearby. Rhea stepped onto the planet, her boots kicking up dust. "We're Terrans," she called out, her voice calm but firm. "You're safe now. We've come to help." The survivors exchanged uncertain glances. One of the avian leaders, Shirel, her wings scorched and torn, stepped forward. "Why should we trust you? Humans brought nothing but chaos." Rhea's gaze didn't waver. "We didn't bring chaos. We survived it. And now we can fight it together." Cheryl studied her for a long moment, then nodded slowly. "Then you are our chance, our last hope." The crew moved quickly. Dr. Imani treated the sick and injured, using improvised medicine mixed with human techniques. Keon set up a communications array to reach other isolated survivors. Slowly, hope spread like sunlight through the ruins. Weeks passed. The Resolute became a hub of coordination. Humans, aliens, and even a few Caldrax defectors who had refused to participate in the genocide joined forces. Rhea Morgan guided them all with quiet authority, her presence commanding respect without fear. One evening, Rhea stood alone on the observation deck, staring at the stars. Keon joined her, leaning on the railing. "You know," he said softly, "other species still underestimate us. They think we're weak, reckless, that we survive by luck." Rhea turned to him, eyes steady. "They don't understand something about humans, Keon. We adapt. We improvise. We fight when all odds are against us. That's why we survived the silencer virus when no one else did. Keon nodded, and they're starting to see it. Every time we rescue a group, every time we disable a patrol or distract the Caldrax, their fear of us grows. Rhea smiled faintly. Good. Let them underestimate us. That will be their mistake. In the communications room, Dr. Imani monitored alien transmissions. She turned to Rhea, excitement and concern mixing in her voice. There's movement in Caldrax space. They're regrouping. But we're not alone anymore. Every survivor we've contacted is starting to move, to form small militias. They trust the Terrans. Rhea clenched her fists, determination burning in her eyes. Then we give them a plan. Not just to survive, but to fight back. The first council of survivors convened aboard the Resolute. Species that had never met before spoke in hesitant tones. Some argued, some distrusted each other, but Rhea let them speak. Her calm, unwavering voice guided every discussion. The ISS Resolute hovered just beyond the Caldrax border, its hull black against the void, nearly invisible. Around it, small groups of ships, human, alien, and defectors, formed a fragile fleet. Captain Rhea Morgan stood at the bridge, eyes sharp, mind sharper. Today was the day they would show the Caldrax and the Council that humans were not prey. Lieutenant Keandre ran final systems checks, sweat gleaming on his forehead. Shield stable, weapons online. But if the Caldrax detect us early, we could be walking into a trap. Rhea's gaze didn't leave the viewport. Then we make the trap our own. Every species in this fleet trusts us. That's more than they expect. From the med bay, Dr. Sira Imani monitored Vera, who had regained strength in stasis. The Thrini alien's voice was soft but steady. You are the first hope the galaxy has seen in centuries. If you fail, there is nothing left. Rhea's jaw tightened. We won't fail. Not now. Not ever. The fleet approached Zereth Prime, a planet the Caldrax had been using as a research and control hub. Its surface was a maze of jagged cliffs and dark, toxic lakes. The sky burned with unnatural light from the planet's unstable magnetic fields. Rhea turned to the fleet's alien commander, a towering insectoid named Krelthek. You and your fighters take the upper orbit. Keep them busy. We'll slip in beneath and strike the core. Krelthek's wings shimmered in the bridge light. Understood, Terran. We fight as one. Rhea's hand brushed the data crystal in her pocket. Proof of the virus, proof of the Council's betrayal. That evidence was their leverage, but it was also their responsibility. If they failed, it would mean the end for every survivor still. Hiding, the Resolute dove toward the planet, weaving through magnetic storms that crackled like living lightning. Sensors flickered, shields groaned, but Rhea's control was precise. Every movement had been rehearsed in simulations, but simulations could not predict fear. Incoming patrols, Keon warned. 3 Caldrax frigates closing fast. Rhea's eyes narrowed. We're not running. Prepare the decoys, and get ready to move when I give the signal. The decoy drones launched like fireflies, each emitting false energy signatures. The Caldrax ships fired, their beams striking the decoys harmlessly. The Resolute dove deeper, its cannons tracking key installations on the planet's surface. Below, explosions rippled across the Caldrax base. Alien resistance teams, led by Shirel and Krelthek's forces, struck simultaneously, sabotaging turrets and communications arrays. The combined assault was chaos, organized chaos. Rhea's voice over the intercom was calm, commanding. Tal, position us above the central reactor. Keon, prep the magnetic pulse. We take out their power in one strike. Talran piloted the ship with precision, dodging energy fire and the planet's violent storms. Keon readied the pulse weapon, his fingers steady despite the adrenaline coursing through him. Suddenly, the planet's surface trembled. A hidden Caldrax dreadnought emerged, larger than anything they had faced before. its black hole reflected the storm's electric light, weapons powering up in seconds. Rhea didn't flinch. We expected that, Kian. Now, the magnetic pulse fired, a brilliant wave of energy cascading over the base. Lights went out, weapons went dark, and the dreadnought staggered under the attack. The surface erupted in controlled chaos as the Allied forces pressed the advantage. Dr. Imani's voice came over the comm. Vera is stable, but they're anxious. They can sense what's happening. Rhea's gaze softened slightly. Good. Let them know we're more than just humans. We fight for everyone. The Kaldraks regrouped quickly, launching fighter squadrons to intercept the resolute Rhea's ship, weaved between them, using the storms as cover. She fired selectively, aiming not just to destroy, but to confuse and outmaneuver. Every shot, every decision showcased the human's unique instinct, improvisation under pressure. Chiro's forces landed on the planet, tearing through remaining defenses. Krelthic's squadron in orbit provided cover, intercepting Kaldrak's reinforcements. The combined human-alien fleet worked seamlessly, something the Kaldraks had never anticipated. Kian's voice, tense but awed, broke the silence. Captain, the enemy. They're falling back. We're winning. Rhea didn't relax. She studied the viewport. Not yet. Keep pushing. Every second counts. The Council won't give up easily. Finally, the central reactor exploded, sending a shockwave across Zareth Prime. Energy pulses knocked the remaining defenses offline. The Kaldrak's dreadnought was crippled, and the surviving ships retreated into the storm. In the aftermath, the fleet hovered in the shadows, wounded but victorious. The planet below smoldered, a testament to the first strike by the new alliance. Rhea looked around the bridge at her crew. Exhaustion was etched on every face, but so was pride. This is only the beginning, she said quietly. The Kaldraks thought they could end us. The Council thought we'd obey. They were wrong. They always were wrong about humans. Vera's voice, weak but clear, reached them from the medbay. Terrans, you are the spark, the hope. Rhea's lips curved slightly, eyes fixed on the stars. Not just hope, she said softly. We're proof that the galaxy can survive, that courage, unity, and determination matter. And the Kaldraks, the Council, they'll learn what happens when they underestimate the Terrans. Kian glanced at her, his expression a mix of awe and relief. And they will. One strike at a time. Rhea nodded. One strike at a time. Until every species knows that humans fight to the very last breath, and never back down. Above the wrecked base, and across the void, a new signal pulsed from the stars. Survivors responding, hope spreading, a galaxy slowly waking to the power of humanity. And for the first time, Terrans weren't just surviving, they were leading. The galaxy was watching. Signals from every corner of space, every hidden system, reached the Terran fleet. Survivors who had once been scattered, frightened, and broken now coordinated through human communications arrays. Each new message carried hope. Each reply carried courage. Captain Rhea Morgan stood on the bridge of the ISS Resolute, the data crystal glowing softly in her hand. It held proof of the silencer virus, the Kaldraks' war crimes, and the Council's betrayal. Every species that had survived would see it now. Every lie, every secret, every manipulation would be exposed. Lieutenant Keandre adjusted the targeting systems, though no shots were fired. This battle was different. This one was about truth. All transmissions ready, he said quietly. Once we send them, there's no turning back. Dr. Sira Imani monitored Vera, now fully awake. The Thrini alien's eyes were bright, almost reverent. They will understand, Vera whispered. Your people. You carry life where none remains. They will see that. Rhea nodded, a firm resolve settling over her like armor. They will see, and they will remember. The data crystal was activated. Across thousands of light, the files streamed into secure networks. into the communications arrays of every major species, every council member, every faction that had hidden in silence. The truth exploded through the galaxy like a supernova. The reaction was immediate. Council chambers erupted in chaos as members argued, accused, and revealed each other's complicity. Alien worlds that had been silent or fearful now mobilized their fleets. No longer blind to the Kaldrax's schemes or the Council's betrayal. The galaxy had awakened. Rhea didn't wait to watch the chaos unfold. She turned to Talren, the pilot, set a course for the core of Kaldrax space. They're reeling, and we need to keep the momentum. Kian grinned, despite the tension. You really do like leading from the front, Captain. Somebody has to, Rhea replied, her eyes gleaming. The Resolute and its allied fleet emerged near the Kaldrax command station. The planet below glowed with energy fields and shields, but this time the humans were not alone. Every species that had survived was here. Every alien that had doubted humanity now followed them into battle, and the Terrans led. The Kaldrax opened fire, but their attacks were scattered, uncoordinated. The sudden influx of resistance from every corner of the galaxy overwhelmed them. The fleet's strategy was simple but brilliant. Humans adapted to every situation instantly, improvising tactics in real time that the Kaldrax could not predict. Rhea's voice over the comm carried through every ship. We are the survivors. We are the proof that the silencer virus cannot destroy life. We are the Terrans, and we fight for every species that wants to live. Below, on the Kaldrax surface, the core reactor began to destabilize as the Allied fleet's coordinated assault hit every weak point simultaneously. Energy pulses tore through shields, explosions echoed into space, and the once mighty command station shuddered under the combined might of species that had once been hunted. Vera stepped from the medbay pod, walking carefully to the bridge. Their voice, though fragile, carried the weight of the galaxy's gratitude. Your people, Terrans, you have not only survived, you have united us all. You are extraordinary. Rhea's lips curved into a faint, proud smile. We're not extraordinary. We're just human. Stubborn, creative, relentless, and willing to do what it takes to survive and protect others. The last Kaldrax frigates attempted to flee, but the Allied forces cut off every exit. Their surrender was inevitable. Across the fleet, cheers erupted, alien voices, human voices, every species that had once been silent, now celebrating. The Terrans had not only survived the virus, they had saved the galaxy. In the midst of the victory, Rhea held the data crystal up to the view.